Having tried the first part of the audit, where departments assess the overall range and diversity of assessments that they ask their students to complete, we now move on to part 2. This is slightly different. On the left-hand side of the screen, you'll see a range of student skills. These are basically a broad set of competencies drawn from a wide range of higher education providers. An indicator of achievement of these skills is in the second column. For example, if we want to assess for thinking critically and making judgments, one of the indicators that a student has achieved that is their ability to develop an argument, to reflect on different views, to evaluate their strengths and weaknesses, to judge. These are some of the higher levels in intellectual skills that we often ask our students to make. In the right-hand column, which is left blank, we're asking you to put the assessment type that you think best evaluates those student skills. And those assessment types are drawn from part 1 of the audit. So in this exercise, we're asking you to identify some of the key student skills, to think about their levels of achievement. How would you know that a student have achieved competency in those skills? And then to identify which assessment type you think best assesses for those skills. Let's look at a practical example here. We often talk about employability skills. Well, one of those employability skills is to manage and develop oneself through the management of time, through group work and so on. So let's say our key skill that we want to look for is managing and developing oneself. An indicator of achievement would be the ability to work cooperatively as a group, to work independently, to learn independently, to perhaps take responsibility for directing that learning, to manage time, to manage tasks, and to organize oneself. These are key skills that employers look for. We might also want to think about how we develop those skills. A good example there might be we have a group project, and a part of that group project we might decide to allocate peer marking so that people who participated can identify the contribution of members of the group. So think about the skills that you'd like your students to have. Think about the indicators that you can use to identify whether they've achieved those skills. And then what kind of assessment do you think best evaluates those kind of skills? Please note, though, that there's no right or wrong answer here, and sometimes one assessment type might test for more than one kind of student skill. So don't worry if you find that you've put essays or exams or presentations down more than once. It may be that that's the most appropriate way to assess for the skills that you're trying to evaluate.